Hey everybody, I'm that Stone Kid, and today I'm doing another video or game review. I know it's been a while, it's been about, say, a month, but I'm catching up on a lot of stuff. And today I am doing Last of Us Remastered. I love this game, and I'll explain why later. Who knows this game? It was a Naughty Dog production that was put back in the PS3, but was remastered for the PS4. Reason why? It's really good. So a little bit about the story. I think everybody knows Joel, just an average everyman. He's living with his daughter, and he's got no wife. I think he's a single parent. I think so, at least. The game doesn't really elaborate so much on that. And his daughter, Sarah, and one day the infected break out. It's like a whole fungal disease. Everyone knows the designs. And as his brother Tommy, and his daughter try to flee the city to the, basically, like, army protection, it's really not, Sarah dies. Sarah gets shot by a military man and dies on sight. So she didn't suffer, but, like, you know, it's still really sad. That part almost made me cry. And I'm man enough to say that. It was very, very sad. So it flash forwards a bunch of years till Joel is older, and he has joined a colony or group or whatever you want to call it. They live in factions and zones, save, quarantine, whatever. It really kind of shows, like, to how we're living now. So he basically is partners with his friend Tess. Don't get too attached to her, let me tell you. So I'm going to put Tess right here. I'm going to put Joel right here. And yeah, you probably, from the footage I'm going to show, probably you've seen Sarah. She's right here. And Tommy, he shows up later in the game. I'll put him right here. So they basically live in a group, and they stumble upon a girl named Ellie, put her right here, who is immune to the disease. She had a bite on her arm and was immune to it. She had it for 2 weeks, and she did not turn. So she is like an asset. So it's basically trying to transport Ellie to what the group is called Fireflies, to them, so they can basically create a cure. It's kind of like a safe haven. She'll be fine. Everyone will be safe there. So amongst trials and tribulations, they make it there. Tess, she gets shot by a rival group and dies. Well, she's bitten first, but then she dies. That was pretty sad. And when they were fighting a rival group, which was the Fireflies, you don't know that yet, that's like the twist at the end, that he was fighting the Fireflies, in some mall, Joel falls and impales himself on a metal spike. Yeah, metal spike. Yeah. So, from a little bit, for the next little bits during the game, you play as Ellie, since Joel's basically out of commission for a little while because of his wound. And as Ellie is hunting, she finds a deer, kills it, and another 2 people from another group find it. And they're like, we'll trade it for you, like what do you want for it? And she says medicine. She wants medicine. They give her 2 bottles of penicillin and a needle. But while one of the guys going to get it, the other person there, David, I'll put him right here. Don't get too used to him. So they basically just fight a ton of infected. And near the end, it's just kind of, yeah, they both kind of survive that. David and Ellie do. They both kind of survive. But then you find out that David's a part of a cannibalistic group. And he kidnaps Ellie to basically feed the rest of everyone in his group, which is very messed up, but it's also a very cool plot point. And the way he dies, I bet you've seen it. Ellie just smashes a machete against his face upon a really cool boss battle, actually. It's a really real stealth-involved boss battle. It's not just straight up stab, stab, you know what I'm saying? You actually have to look around, plan what you're doing. And yeah, so at the end of the game, they find out that for Ellie to become the cure, she has to be killed, and Joel can't handle that. And when you go through the Fireflies hospital, it's all in a hospital type area, he finds out that the other people who are apparently immune to this disease have died from the surgery, which has never helped. So, and by the way, anybody else play this game? Did anybody else kill the poor defenseless doctors in the surgery room? Or was it just me? Like, am I evil? Oh my god, I should just die right now, shouldn't I? So, the end of the game climaxes with Ellie finally giving up her grievances of how many people she has basically killed. She thinks she's killed them, but it's always an accidental death or death by external factors such as. And they kind of roll on. By the way, there's a sequel coming, June 19th, I think, Last of Us 2. Still has Joel and Ellie a part of it. I'll put the box art right there. I'm really excited for that. I might get it first day. I don't know, I might save up my cash and get it. But you're going to be seeing a review from me from that, because I love this one so much. So, yeah, that's what I'm really going to talk about the story, because everybody knows it. It's pretty ingrained in pop culture just how. So, I'm going to talk about the controls. The controls range from playing as Joel for most of the game, about 70% of the game. And he has his basic gun attacks. You get a lot of guns throughout the game, starting out with a pistol, then you get a hunting rifle, then a bow and arrow, and a flamethrower, and an AK, and stuff like that. And you can all build up your weapons by scrap you collect. Scrap is a very useful thing, because when I played it, I'm not going to show that much footage, because on my first playthrough, I didn't really take footage. I didn't think of that. So with that, you can upgrade your weapons, such as you get a hunting rifle. And with a certain number of scrap, you can add a scope, or add a silencer, or bigger ammo capacity, or faster reload speed. So you're going to want to collect these things, and also the crafting system. The crafting system, you can craft shivs, med kits, Molotov cocktails, bombs, smoke bombs, stuff like that. Those are all stuff you're going to need, and all the supplies is there, but you really got to look. You can't kind of wade through the game and still expect to beat it easily. No, you gotta look for every single one of these things. And medkit supplies, you need alcohol and rags. That seems really easy to find. It's not. You'll actually have to look around a little bit. And finding a complete medkit is pretty hard. I probably found about 2 during the game. And the rest, you have to craft. And this is not like any other third-person shooter either. There's a third-person shooter if you didn't know. I know I didn't explain that. But you'll have an ammo bar. You'll have your ammo, and you can't like shoot off your bullets. You really have to be conservative with your bullets. But also, you have a health bar, and that cannot go up unless you find food, which you don't find it, you don't care, or a health kit. Otherwise than that, you'll stay at the health you have. So, and yeah, it's pretty easy to die during this game. And also, I'm going to talk about the controls a little bit. The controls are fantastic. This is a Naughty Dog production, and they made stuff as Uncharted and Crash Bandicoot. I'm a big fan of their games. I've played almost all of their games. I love them all. So the controls, I'm just going to talk about the combat controls, because basically, when you're roaming around the overworld, it's all snappy controls, all great. You can sprint, you can pull out your weapons, and stuff like that. But you can also melee attack if you find, for example, pieces of wood, baseball bats, crowbars, or even your fists. You can melee attack anybody, which you're going to want to do because ammo doesn't come easy. And I'm going to talk about the backpack system a little bit. So your backpack, it's really weird. It's divided up into 4 columns. And one column is your secondary weapon, your primary weapon, and all your items on the other 2 columns. But you can upgrade it. So if you want to switch to your gun when you only have one gun slot, you actually have to stop, select the gun you want, and then put it back and go back. And when you're in a gunfight, that is really hard to do. That's why you need scrap. You need to build ammo holsters and also gun holsters. Gun holsters can add another slot. And you can do the same with primary and secondary weapons. So you're really going to want to collect all this scrap to make the game easier. And it's not extremely hard to come by, but it's also pretty hard to come by. And I'm going to talk about the characters, really Joel and Ellie specific. Just because they're so different in the views and the way they want to do everything, that they're almost constantly arguing. And they kind of have this kind of father-daughter dynamic that really makes them better as characters. So I really like how they do all that. And they're written great. I'm not going to talk about all the other characters like Tommy, no need. Just Joel's brother, and they disagree a lot. Tess gets bit and dies. And, like, yeah, that's really all I'm going to talk about. I feel no need to talk about anything else. And also, the enemies. Who do you fight in this game? Well, you fight the occasional human, raider, whatever you want to call them. But you also fight regular infected, I'm going to put right here. You can just kill those easily with guns or melee attacks or whatever you want. But clickers, I'm going to put them right here. They're a really different story because they are blind, but they have great hearing. So, if they hear you, you will almost die immediately, and you can't melee them unless you have a shiv, which is craftable. So you have to do everything you can stealthy when you fight them. So you also have bricks. You could throw bricks at them and go for a melee, or you could throw a bottle and distract them away and kind of sneak by. You don't have to kill them. It's all optional to kill them as long as you get past to where you are. That's really all that matters. And finally, what's that other one called? Oh right, the bloaters. They're brutal to deal with. Like, there's not very many in the game, but they're big infecteds, right? So it's really hard to kill them, but there's easy tactics to beat them, such as you'll get the flamethrower later in the game. When you see them, you can just torch them, but you cannot be touched by them. And they also have a decent long-range attack, which they take a part of their body and throw it at you to shoot spores everywhere. It's a fungal infection, if you didn't know. So they're pretty hard to beat, and you really got to be conservative with it all. You have to use fire on them, which is very easy to kill them. Killing them with guns, you will waste a lot of your ammo, and you cannot afford to waste any. So yeah, and don't let them touch you, or this will happen. Beautiful, am I right? Is there anything I talked about? I talked about the story, the characters, the controls. And also, one thing I forgot to mention about the controls, there's a sense. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a Spidey sense like you see in the Spider-Man games. You can hear through walls, and you can upgrade how far it can go. It's hearing. And you can see how people move around, where they are. You can do that with clickers, infected, or people. So it's a really good dynamic like that. I might play this game again for like a gameplay thing. I don't know. It'll all have to be like a game time decision. But for me, with this game, I give it a hard 10 out of 10. I urge you to play this game. You will almost cry through a lot of it, and you will have so much fun taking out all the infecteds. Anyway, I'm that Stone Kid, and goodbye. Ha!